Your approach good day, curve in your line. 528, 9000 with hotel. That's your line, so I'm
528, you're not an emergency, are you?
Pilot thought it was a hijack. What ATC here will shock you. This wasn't supposed to happen. A routine commercial flight cruising peacefully at 35,000 feet suddenly turned into a situation that no pilot ever wants to face. A strange message, a misunderstanding, and within minutes, air traffic control began to fear the worst. Was this a hijacking or something far more confusing and dangerous? Today, we break down a real aviation style incident where a simple miscommunication inside the cockpit triggered panic on the ground and nearly escalated into a full blown emergency. The flight departed like any other. Passengers were seated, cabin crew completed their safety checks, and the aircraft smoothly climbed into the sky. Everything was normal, the pilots were experienced, weather conditions were stable, no technical issue were reported. Air traffic control maintained routine communication within the aircraft. Altitude checks, heading confirmation, standard procedures. Inside the cockpit, it was just another day at work, or at least that's what it seems. Things started to change when ATC noticed something unusual, the pilot's tone. It wasn't panic, but it wasn't normal either. There was hesitation, a slight delay in responses. Then came a transmission that raised eyebrows. It wasn't a clear distress call, but it didn't sound routine either. ATC controllers are trained to detect even the smallest irregularities, and this was one of them. They tried to confirm the situation, but the responses coming back only made things more confusing. Then came the moment that changed everything. A phrase, a word, something said over the radio. They could be interpreted in more than one way. To some, it sounded like a coded distress signal. To others, it hinted at a possibly hijacking. Now here's the thing about aviation. Pilots are trained to use specific codes in emergencies, and one of the most serious situations is unlawful interference hijacking. ATC immediately went into alert mode. They began monitoring every word, every pause, every background sound. Was sounding else in the cockpit? Was the crew under pressure, or was this just a misunderstanding? At this point, things escalated quickly. Air traffic control noticed higher authorities, security protocols were quietly activated, other aircraft in the vicinity were kept at a safe distance. Controllers continued communication with the pilot, trying to assess the situation without making it worse. Because in suspected hijacking cases, you don't provoke, you don't assume, you carefully observe. Every second matters, every word matters, and right now nothing was clear. Inside the cockpit, the reality was very different. There was no hijacker, no external threat. Instead, what the crew was dealing with was something far less dramatic, but equally dangerous in aviation: confusion, miscommunication between pilots, possibly a technical distraction, or even a misunderstanding of instructions. In high pressure environments like a cockpit, even a small mistake in communication can sound completely different over the radio, and that's exactly what happened. As ATC continued to question the crew, things slowly became clearer. The pilot clarified the situation, the tone changed, responses became more consistent, and the suspicious message turned out to be something entirely different from what was first assumed. No hijacking, no criminal activity, just a chain of misinterpretations. But by the time clarity arrived, the situation had already triggered a serious response on the ground. The aircraft continued its journey under close monitoring. Emergency services were placed on standby just in case, and eventually, the plane landed safely. Passengers had no idea what had just happened behind the scenes. But for aviation authorities, this incident became an important lesson because it showed how quickly things can escalate from a simple misunderstanding to a potential national security concern. In aviation, communication is everything. A single word, a slight change in tone can completely change how a situation is perceived. This incident reminds us that even in the most advanced systems, human factors still play a huge role, and sometimes the biggest emergencies start with the smallest misunderstandings. If you found this story interesting, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more real aviation incident explained in detail. because in the world of aviation, there's always more than what meets the eye. Thank you.